Absolutely. I think my experience in journalism, print journalism, and working in a more traditional media has sort of given me the structure of how to tell a story, has allowed me to sort of write scripts, prepare well, and just think about the story before I tell it. It's given me aspects of research, aspects of really doing the homework behind a video, which is why I like to think of our videos more as documentaries rather than vlogs. So they're documentaries where I incorporate elements of vlogging and sort of that human aspect, so people can connect with it on a more of a heart to heart level. So I think my experience in journalism, more than anything, gave me structure and how to tell a story. I think if you tell a great story, it should be welcomed on most platforms. I think for me, I like to differentiate because I have various creative formats that I like to explore. I never like to stick to one format. So for me, for example, I like to do acting and I like to do sketch comedy. So I sort of push that onto like Instagram more. So if someone comes to me and they remember like a funny video that we've done, I assume that they followed me on Instagram. For Facebook, I like to stick to more longer format. So on Facebook, on YouTube, more longer format sketches and more of the documentary slash mockumentary stuff. So I think the thing that I enjoy about the creative work that the team and I do is people don't know what they're going to expect in the next video. They don't know if it's going to be a deep documentary. They don't know if it's going to be a more of a story on culture and global tolerance or a human story. They don't know if it's going to be a sketch comedy. And I think that's, for me, it allows me to not box myself into anything. So I'm always open to trying new formats and new ways of telling a story. But that's what I think is important that you'll see consistent and no matter what platform you follow me on, is that there's always a message behind the video, whether that's a serious documentary, a mockumentary, or a sketch comedy with my wife. They all have a message that needs to be told within it. I think people who follow Salama and I think they kind of come for a common message, and that's a message of fun, a message of love, a message of being global citizens and going out and exploring the world and people and cultures. But most of all, I think they come for the comedy and sort of us looking back at our life and our marriage and looking at the moments that meant a lot to us, looking at the moments that were fun to us, and just sharing that and in the hope that it helps, because our marriage has not been all fun and games and roses and rainbows. We've been through a lot of hard times, but we've come out stronger because of them. So I think for me, we like to try and share a bit of those messages. That's number one. But two, to also share that marriage doesn't have to be serious. It can be fun every single day if you want it to be, inshallah. For me, the people from India, the people from the Philippines, and the people from Pakistan have been such an important part of our community, our culture, and our growth. And I only knew the side of them in the United Arab Emirates. And for me, they knew all about us, our culture, our homes, our history. But I knew very little about their cultures. And I felt there was a lot to explore there. And for me, it was important to go and understand, where they come from, their culture, their sort of the things that they hold dear to themselves, and the things that make them proud, and the things that they want to share. So for me, just being able to go there and explore their country, it gave me a whole new understanding to their culture and to why they're so important to the UAE as we grow and as we prosper and as we move forward. I think in our part of the world, we've taken the social media in a way where you've really seen a growth in the creatives in the Middle East. And I think they've always been there. They've just never always had the platforms to do it or to express themselves. And that's why you're seeing such a dynamic community of people on YouTube, on Instagram, and now on TikTok. Is when a new platform comes out, the Middle East is just, on it and moves with it and grows with it. And it's because I think we all have that sense of, storytelling in our blood. So if you look at the history of my community and my people, we're storytellers, we're poets, we're entertainers by nature, I feel. And a lot of the jokes that I tell and the way that I tell it is, my dad, he was one of the most hilarious people I knew. And we just all have that in our blood. So for me, having these platforms has given such a diverse perspective of life in the Middle East and life as youth. So we've really taken to those platforms and really, prospered on them. And you're going to see continued growth on all those platforms. And as new platforms come, even when I was in university, Saudi Arabia was one of the countries that had the most views of videos, and YouTube are there in the US, like thinking, how's that? What's going on? It's because we're part of the world that likes to jump on these platforms and express, and you're seeing the growth of multi-channel networks in Saudi Arabia and now in other parts of the Middle East. So I'm just really excited for the future of social media, and sort of for me, I'm excited about the merging of social media and traditional media, that it all becomes one. And Liza Koshy, when I interviewed her, who's this huge YouTuber, when I asked her about the difference between social media, traditional media and stuff, she said it's all entertainment at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, I feel that we as traditional poets and storytellers, we just have that entertainment aspect in our DNA. At least I feel that way. And that's why we so naturally progress on these platforms. Yeah, so the first word was illa, amachi, nani, uh, tatukara. Illa was because I kept asking to go places, and the people who were taking us around were like, illa. And I was like, okay, cool. Then we ended, but then we'd end up going somewhere else. So, and Amachi is basically from our time in the backwaters. We met this incredible lady who was making tea and coffee, and she taught us. So we learned. I'm like, how do I address her? And they told me Amachi, so it's the way we address them. Tatukara, because we had that food during our food video. And Nani, obviously, thank you, just to show respect for the people who are serving us and helping us. So I actually haven't tried Arabian food in Kerala. And to be honest, the reason we went to the Tatukara, and I think that should tell you about the experiences that I wanted to have while I was here. I wanted to eat the food that was close to the Keralite's heart. I can get Arabic food anytime back home, but for me, I'm not surprised to see Arabic food here. With the influence and the impact of the Indian community in the United Arab Emirates, it's only natural as they come back that they bring various flavors and lessons and cultural aspects. So I mean, I've seen like shawarmas. I saw a few mendi places, which is the rice and the meat. I know you guys have a Sharjah shake, Sharjah being one of the Emirates in the United Arab Emirates. The funny thing about the Sharjah shake is I asked them, why is it called the Sharjah shake? And most of them go, I don't know. so it was really interesting to me, but it's sort of, for me, it's natural, right? I mean, it's this beautiful circle of our cultures combining, and us, we've embraced, foods from here, like, the biryani and the chapati and the paratha and the dry meat and all these things, that are become kind of like normal to us. And I think it's just as normal as when you say Sharjah shake and shawarma and seeing Mendi restaurants in the middle of Kerala. I think it's just shows how this cultural connection is just going to happen, and it's natural, given how much the impact that the Indian community has had on the UAE. And it's just for me to come and see that they're bringing that back here. It just shows how rich their experience was when they were in our country.